Hi everyone, so this is day 2 of the quadratic formula, so we're just going to keep on practicing with it. Today we're going to get a little more difficult. So I want you to practice with the solving by factoring, because that was the area in the quiz that was the most, that you guys found the most difficult. Right, so pause the video and do these two. So number 1's a slide, because there's this 3 in front that you can't divide by, so multiply it to negative 24, right, 3 times negative 8. And combine to negative 10. So that gives you 2 and 12, where the 12 is negative. Don't forget to put the 3 in front. That was the biggest mistake on the quiz. 3x, 3x. And then you have your plus 2 and your minus 12. Right. So then you're supposed to find your GCF. Right here we have a 3. So then we get 3x plus 2 equals 0. X minus 4 equals 0, so I add 4 to both sides. Minus 2, and divide by 3. Those are your two answers. In numbers 2, we don't have a 0 on one side, so we have to solve for 0, get 0. So we're going to add 9. Remember that 9 can't combine with anything. So we get x squared minus 10x plus 9. So we are multiplying to 9 and combining to negative 10. That's 1 and 9, right? They're both negative. So x minus 1, x minus 9 equals 0. So we end up getting x equals 1, x equals 9, and we're done. All right, so remember, this is just a quick review. The general form of a quadratic, that's our ax squared plus bx plus c. So remember, this is a quadratic equation. Don't confuse those two terms. Quadratic equation, this is an equation, ax squared bx plus c, versus the quadratic formula. That's a formula that tells us what the x values are. So you should remember it, negative b. I can't erase. Why am I not erasing? Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. That's it. Okay, so let's practice. So pause and try this one on your own. So in this case, my a is 5, b is 6, and c is negative 8. B is 6. I put b as c. There we go. All right. So, negative 6 plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right, and this is what x equals. Oh no, what just happened? Oh no. Undo. Whew. I don't know what I did there. That was crazy time. All right. So then we get x equals negative 6 plus or minus the square root. And so I always do the 6 and then the bottom, and then I'm going to figure out what goes under that square root. 196. And then do we know the square root of 196? We do. Square root of 196 is 14. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this into 2. So I've got my negative 6 plus 14 over 10 and negative 6 minus 14 over 10. So negative 6 plus 14 is 8. 8 divided by 10, which is 4/5. And then over here we get negative 20 over 10. So x is negative 2. And those are our two answers. So that's exactly what we did in the problem from yesterday. All right, here's another one. Try it on your own. All right, so in this case, my a is negative 1, b is 6, and c is 11. So negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Negative 6 plus or minus the square root all over 2 times negative 1. Let's see what we get under that square root. All right, I got 80. Okay, so now, do we know the square root of 80? We don't. So what we're going to do is, just like before with our square roots, we're going to simplify. What perfect square goes into 80? A lot of kids think it's 4 times 20. It's not. 5 times 16. 16 is a perfect square, so remember root 16. I'm going to put that one in front. Doesn't actually matter. The square root of 16 is 4. The square root of 5, I don't know the square root of 5, so I'm going to leave it. So then this becomes negative 6 plus or minus, instead of root 80, it's 4 root 5 all over negative 2. Now what I'm going to do to make this a little nicer looking, since this is even and this is even, I'm going to divide both of those by that negative 2. Right? So this becomes negative 6 divided by negative 2 is 3, plus or minus 4 divided by negative 2 is negative 2. It actually doesn't matter if you put a negative there or not because of the plus minus. So that's our answer. And we're done. Okay, so now the ones that are more difficult that we're going to talk about now is, what if we get a negative under a square root? So I've kind of been avoiding that, but that does happen. When that happens, all I want you to do is write the phrase, no real solution, right? For example, if I get 3 plus or minus the square root of negative 2 over 2, because there's a negative under the square root, there's no real solution. Because what, do you know a number times itself that's a negative? No, it's impossible. We don't have any real numbers. So we use the phrase real number because there are what's called imaginary numbers, which we're going to get into later this year. Okay, so this is going to happen here. So let's start off. What do we do first? We need a 0 on one side. So I'm going to move everything to the right side because I want a positive x squared. So I'm going to add plus 7x squared. Oops, minus 5x plus 2. So I get 0, that everything cancels. 8x squared minus 9x plus 3. All right, so now do the quadratic formula with that. So now that I have this, my a is 8, my b is negative 9, and my c is 3. So negative 9, negative b, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I know you like my singing. So I ended up getting negative 9 is 9, plus or minus the square root of negative 15 all over 16. So because we got a negative under the square root, we're going to put, that's our answer, but we're also going to put no real solutions. I want both of these. I want this part and the phrase no real solution. All right, pause the video, try it on your own. So again, we have to subtract. We need a 0 on one side. X squared minus 5x plus 25 equals 0. So we're going to do a is 1, b is negative 5, and c is 25. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Alright, so 5 plus or minus 2 times 1 is 2, and then let's see what's in that. I get negative 75. Now, even it is negative, but I'm going to simplify. 75 can be simplified. So what perfect square goes into 75? That's 25 times 3. So square root of 25 is 5 root 3. So we're going to write our answer as 5 plus or minus 5 root. Now I kind of ignored that negative. Negative 3 all over 2. And then I'm also going to write no real solutions. And this is what our answer is. All right, last one. Try it on your own. So I'm going to add 90 to both sides. Negative 2x squared plus 11x plus 90 equals 0. So we get negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right. See what we get under that square root. 2 times negative 2 was the negative 4. So we get 121 minus 4 times negative 2 times 90. And we get 841. Ooh. Does anything go into 841? I have no idea. Okay, I'm just going to leave that. I think there is a number that goes into it. I just don't know what it is. Oh my god, 841 is a perfect square. 841 is 29 squared. That's crazy. I didn't know that. That's what happens when I write these problems really long time ago. All right, yeah, put that in your calculator. The square root of 841 is 29. So then I have my x equals negative 11 plus 29 all over 4. Negative 11 minus 29 all over 4. So that gives us what? 18 over 4. So that's 9 over 2, simplified. And then over here we get negative 40 over 4. So x is negative 10. Wow, I would not have guessed that that was factorable. You learn a new thing every day. All right, that's our lesson. So now it's really just about practicing. All right, have a fabulous day, guys.